In 1995, Tupac Shakur was at his lowest point. He was broke, serving time at Clinton Correctional Facility, and watching the world he helped build move on without him. He felt betrayed by the industry and abandoned by his friends. In his mind, all eyes were on him, judging him. Then, an offer came. From the most feared man in music, Marion Suge Knight, the CEO of Death Row Records. Suge offered to pay Pac's $1.4 million bail. But there was a catch. He had to sign a 3-album deal with Death Row, handwritten on a napkin. It was a deal with the devil. Stay in prison, or sign your life away for freedom and a chance at revenge. Pac took the deal. Hours after leaving prison, he wasn't going home. He was going straight to the studio. Tupac arrived at Con Am Studios with nearly a year of pent-up rage, poetry, and ambition. He didn't just have ideas, he had a vision. He demanded a beat, and within minutes, the iconic track Ambition's Azarita was born. He wrote the entire song in the time it took the producer to go get a glass of water. This was the pace for the next 2 weeks. Pac was a creative hurricane, often completing 3 or 4 songs a day. He practically lived in the studio. He had been silenced for months, and now the floodgates were open. He wrote about his paranoia, his enemies, his lust for life, and his defiance against the system that locked him up. He was fueled by Hennessy, weed, and a relentless desire to prove everyone wrong. The producers could barely keep up. The result was so much incredible material that Suge Knight suggested making it a double album, the first of its kind in hip-hop. Released in February 1996, All Eyez on Me was a commercial and critical juggernaut. It was an unapologetic celebration of survival and success in the face of hate. The album debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, selling over 500,000 copies in its first week. It cemented Tupac as the biggest rapper on the planet. It was his magnum opus, the ultimate statement piece. The All Eyez on Me he felt in prison was now a reality, but this time, it was on his terms. He was the center of the universe, but the album was also a product of the toxic, violent environment of Death Row Records. The celebration was intense, but it was unsustainable. All Eyez on Me would eventually be certified Diamond, a landmark achievement in hip-hop. It was the peak of his career. Tragically, it would also be the last album released during his lifetime. Just 7 months after achieving this monumental success, Tupac Shakur was gone. What's your favorite track from All Eyez on Me?